What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Football Last Call. I'm your host, Doug Clemons. Here with me, as he is every Sunday, is my good pal, Mike LaPlant. What's going on?
Not much. How about you, my man?
Another good day of football. But we're trying a different format this week, guys. Hope you like it. We're going to try and just go super fast and knock this out in like 10, 15 minutes. But before we get started, please smash that like button. Please subscribe. We appreciate it. But without further ado, the first game of the day, Mike, the Los Angeles Chargers beat the Atlanta Falcons 20-17. Wasn't a great offensive showing here. Austin Eckler finds the end zone and gets a lot of passing game work, finishes with 24.1 PPR points. And if he started Josh Palmer, he did not disappoint either with 18.6 fantasy points. It saw a ton of volume. Jumping over to the Falcons side of things, Marcus Mariota was out doing Marcus Mariota things. Targeted Kyle Pitts 7 times, only hooked up with him twice and missed him on a wide open bomb. It was the story of the backfield here for the Falcons, man. Cordero Patterson comes back, finds the end zone twice, but all three running backs were relevant. And my biggest takeaway of this game really was that Cordero Patterson is a set it and forget it RB2, even in this committee, because they're going to run the damn ball so much, man.
Oh, yeah, and he's the red zone back.
Yep, for sure. But moving on.
Moving on to the next game here, we had the Cincinnati Bengals taking off the Carolina Panthers 42-21, and really it was no contest here, guys. Joe Mixon had 4 first-half touchdowns, and he finished it off with 5 touchdowns altogether, man. 51.1 fantasy points, 55 in PPR, though. So it was just brutal for the Panthers. They couldn't stop him whatsoever. Other than that, really, there was nothing here. You had Terrence Marshall on the other side getting a touchdown, but that was it. It was really Joe Mixon taking the day and stealing the show here.
Yes, it was. It was wild to see, man. It really was. Next game up here, we got the Miami Dolphins against the Chicago Bears, and this was the thriller of the day, to be honest with you, especially for me. Starting with the Bears, Justin Fields, man, I think he's the real deal. 123 yards through the air, 3 touchdowns. But Mike, he set an NFL record with 178 yards and a touchdown. 40 fantasy points for him today. And with this offense humming, the guys around him got going too. Darnell Mooney had a solid day catching a touchdown. Cole Kmet had a solid day catching 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns for Cole Kmet today, man. The breakout was finally here. Hopefully he can contain it. And then the Dolphins offense, man, stays hot. Tua just keeps cooking, 24 fantasy points. Tyreek Hill did his thing, finding the end zone, 27 PPR points, and Jalen Waddle, 19.5 points as well. And then the backfield was really split. Jeff Wilson, 9 carries. Raheem Mostert, 9 carries. Mostert was the one who found the end zone. But to be honest with you, Jeff Wilson looked better. So I'm curious to see how this backfield looks moving forward, man, because I think Jeff Wilson might be the better back, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this is why they traded for him. But Moving on to the next game here, we had the New England Patriots taking down the Indianapolis Colts 26-3. And again, wasn't much of a contest here, guys. Really, the Patriots, your big guy here that was taking the lead was Ramondre Stevenson. He got into the end zone through the air.
Sick one-handed catch.
Yes. Spectacular catch. It was a beauty. He finished the day with 16 PPR points. So, other than that touchdown, it really salvaged his day. There really wasn't much fantasy-wise in this game. Jacoby Myers caught 5 for 42, but other than that, it was Hunter Henry, getting a game. But then on the other hand, it was really the defense of New England that dominated all day. Sam Ehlinger on his back 9 times with sacks, 1 interception. Pretty sure they had a pick 6 too in this one. But yeah, so it was not much here on the Colts end. Hopefully they turn around with Sam Ehlinger moving forward. But man, New England dominates again.
Yeah, that offense just couldn't get going. The next game, we got the Detroit Lions upsetting the Green Bay Packers, Mike, 15-9, and the Packers offense just can't get going. Aaron Rodgers, 3 interceptions today, and he was just awful. And he said it in his post-game presser. AJ Dillon out-touched Aaron Jones for some weird reason today. But
Aaron Jones got injured, that's why.
Okay. Thank you for that. But AJ Dillon disappoints once again, man. 6 PPR points. I thought this was going to be the week against a bad Lions offense. Alan Lazard caught a touchdown. Shocker. That seems to be what he does. 18.7 PPR points. Jumping back over to the Lions, though. Jared Goff, pedestrian day. But then you had Jamal Williams leading the backfield with 24 attempts, man.
We saw it coming.
Yeah,
Snap count for Swift.
Finished it with 8 fantasy points. Swift's only had 2 carries. He was involved in the passing game a little bit. So if you started him, he was okay with 8 PPR points, but not a ton of value in this game either, man. I mean, obviously the score was 15-9. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, you started him. You were disappointed with 4 for 55. But yeah, man, AJ Dillon, I know, but this was kind of the big bye week, but this is really the only time you could have started AJ Dillon and he still didn't produce. So if you need to drop him to make room for somebody, go ahead. But if you can, keep him on your roster as a high-end handcuff at least.
I mean, especially with the Aaron Jones injury, I wouldn't be dropping him just yet until I find out the extent of that injury. Because he did walk out of the stadium with a walking boot. That's the only thing.
Oh no.
Yeah. So moving on to the next game here, we had the Minnesota Vikings taking another game lead on the Packers here in the division. Hell, the Bears at this point. 20-17 against the Commanders. It was a thriller. Somehow the Vikings pull it off again, but the main reason here was Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. Jefferson finished the day 7-115 a tut, 25.5 PPR points. Dalvin Cook, salvaged his day with a touchdown, getting 13.6. And then the new addition, TJ Hawkinson, caught all 9 of his targets for 70 yards for 16 points. I mean, this offense once it gets going, it's humming, and it seems to be a fantasy relevant offense. Now moving over to the Commanders side, not a whole lot to talk about here. I mean, Curtis Samuel gets the one of the touchdowns from Taylor Heineke, but really it was a deep bomb that he just happened to get lucky. I mean, this play was ridiculous. I wish we could show you a replay of it.
Yeah, it was insane.
But other than that, it was Dax Milne catching the other touchdown here. So really nothing to talk about outside of, Curtis Samuel, really. McLaurin had 5 for 56, but he should have had more, 9 targets on the day.
Yep. Next game, guys, we got the upset of the day, the New York Jets beating the Buffalo Bills 20-17. Wow. Josh Allen struggled today, and he said it in his presser, too. He's like, it's hard to win when when your quarterback plays like shit. He threw 2 interceptions. He still had 26 fantasy points because of his 2 rushing touchdowns. Stephon Diggs, decent day, 5 for 93. Gabe Davis, man, disappointing. 2 on 5 targets for 33 yards. No. And then the backfield was Devin Singletary, 8 attempts, James Cook, 4 attempts. Nyheim Hines really wasn't worked in a whole lot here. But he's someone to keep an eye out moving forward. Jumping over to the Jets side of things, this offense was kind of pedestrian as well. It was Michael Carter scoring the lone touchdown, but Garrett Wilson, Mike, seeing 9 targets, catching 8 of them for 92 yards. He has had a roller coaster rookie season, but it looks like he's starting to get the chemistry back with Zach Wilson, and he's flirting with borderline flex territory after these last 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, agreed. It's nice to see this revival back in it. I mean, it was nice to see the Jets actually take out a division rival like this. It's such an upset for the Bills and the Jets.
Yes, sir. But
moving on to the next game we had here, Jacksonville Jaguars taking down the Las Vegas Raiders, the battle of the 2 and 5 teams. So, I mean, really, the star of the day was Travis Etienne, carrying the load, 28 rushes for 109 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground, getting 26.6 PPR points. I mean, Christian Kirk, he did supply some fantasy value here with 8 receptions for 76 yards and a touchdown, getting 21.6. But I mean, other than that, Trevor Lawrence did have kind of a pedestrian day, in my opinion, only 235 and a tut. But moving on to the Raiders side, even though they lost, Devontae Adams, man, 17 targets, catching 10 of them for 146 and 2 touchdowns, 36.6 fantasy points. Really the star of the game besides Etienne. Jacobs just subpar, not even hitting the end zone, just getting an abysmal. He didn't even 11.7 points here. Derek Carr did have 2 touchdowns, 256, which is better than I expected. But other than that, it was really Devontae Adams, Travis Etienne, and Christian Kirk in this game.
Yep. Etienne blowing up once again. You love to see it.
28 carries. That's what really wowed me.
Yeah, that's mind blowing. Never would have thought we would see him getting that many carries. But next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks beating the Arizona Cardinals 31-21. Man, Geno Smith still rocking, doing his thing. 21 fantasy points, throw 2 touchdowns. Ken Walker finds the end zone twice as well. Lockett finds one through the air, and so does DK Metcalf. So everyone who you're relying on in this Seahawks offense did something good for you today. Can't say the same thing about Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Kyler had a pedestrian day, 19 fantasy points, but got sacked 5 times, man. And this offense just really could not get rolling. Ertz caught a touchdown, Hopkins caught a touchdown, and Rondale Moore saw the team high 10 targets and caught 8 of them, man. So he had 14 PPR points. James Conner did return from injury, but didn't really do a whole lot. And this backfield was split as well, man. And then my biggest takeaway here is Kyler is just really unhappy. We saw 1 week we see him screaming at Cliff Kingsbury, man, on the sideline, and then this week I don't know if you saw he's screaming at DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, it's this team is just not fun right now, and it doesn't look like it's fun playing for him. And I'm just I know Kingsbury just signed an extension, but man, how long do you keep him around, Mike?
Good question. I mean, moving on to another game here, and another team that's just not having any fun this season. We got the Super Bowl hangover with the Rams getting knocked off by the Tampa Bay Bucks in the last minute for Tampa Bay Tom. Coming back, getting a touchdown to take the lead, 16-13 at the end. Really, on the Buccaneers side of the day, I mean, the only one to score the touchdown was Cade Otton, 5 for 68, finished with 17.8. First tight end to score a touchdown for the Buccaneers this year. I mean, it was weird because it was spread around all day. Yeah, Mike Evans had 11 targets. Chris Godwin had 10 targets, but I mean, it was just, Mike Evans only 5 for 40, Chris Godwin 7 for 36. So really nothing there to be happy about. Leonard Fournette, I mean, 19 yards on the ground, whoop-de-doo. Really, it was Cade Otton, surprisingly for the Bucs, that did well. But moving over to the Rams here, I mean, shocker, the star of the show, Cooper Kupp, doing it all. 8 receptions for 127 yards and a touchdown, 26.8 fantasy points. Really, that's it. I mean, you had Darrell Henderson leading the charge on the ground for 56 yards, but nothing else after that. I mean, this offense kind of sucks outside of Cooper Kupp, not going to lie.
Cooper Kupp, yeah, and hey, Cooper Kupp's just the fantasy MVP, man. He's just so consistent, and he seems.
It's nice to see that injury didn't hurt him too much.
Yeah, no, it definitely did not slow him down, man. But that was it. We did it. We're done already, man. That was awesome. We're at halftime of the Sunday night game. Tennessee's up 14-9. I just saw Tennessee picked off Patrick Mahomes.
No.
So they got the ball in Chiefs territory.
Not looking good for the Chiefs.
Nope, it should be a good game the rest of the night, though, pal. But yeah, if you haven't already, please please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please let us know in the comments if you like this format, and we'll keep it going if you like these quick hitters. So yeah, just let us know. For Mike, I'm Dylan. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Have a good